What is up, guys? Starting with a burp. That's the right note to start a live on. Um, so you're welcome. I want to get back to the live streaming. I've been doing a lot of traveling. I've been to Chicago, been to Austin. Basically, talking to girls, getting girls myself, and helping my clients get laid. Um, had a guy who had only approached 3 girls in his life, had him pull for the first time in his life and get laid for the first time. And that was in Austin 2 weeks ago. So it was really cool. Been doing a lot of traveling. I'm almost full with the boot camps. I'm almost out of spaces. Through November, I'm going to be coaching them myself. And then past that, I'm going to be training and hiring other coaches to do it for me. So that's it. For me, for my coaching, for getting personal coaching with me, that's it. I may do it in the future at a much higher price. We're talking like 5, 10K for coaching with me. We might do it at that for it to not be too much of an opportunity cost. But in the meantime, I'm probably just going to train other people to coach for me, and they're going to be very good. I'm not going to just hire anyone. But if you want to have access to that, you're going to have to, if you want to have access to coaching with me, there we go, then you're going to want to sign up soon. So in this video, I'm going to give you the definitive strategy for overcoming approach anxiety once and for all. And it's all about something known as momentum. And if you don't know, like, why would I approach anxiety? Like, first of all, I don't have approach anxiety, and why would I care about it? 47% of people who watch my channel, I did a survey, 47% have not gotten laid in the last year, which is actually better than the national average for single men between 18 and 30. The national average is 60%. So it's better than the national average, but still there's 47% of people who watch my channel have not gotten laid in the last year. And you know what's really interesting? 46% have not done a single approach in the last month. And the even crazier part is that when you look at the flip side, what about the guys who are getting laid a lot? The guys who, I think it was 15 plus in the last year, slept with 15 or more women. That was, I believe, 6%. You know what else was 6%? The amount that approached over 50 women in the last month. So it is a perfect correlation between the guys who don't approach are the guys who are not getting laid, and the guys who do approach are the guys who are getting laid. And I don't think it's entirely because they're getting laid from approaching. A lot of it's that, but I also think it's the people who are putting themselves out there, taking risks, going outside their house, talking to women. They are building a character that women find attractive. They are taking more risks. They are building discipline. So they're getting laid just because they're taking action, but they're also becoming someone that women would want to sleep with. Because what the guys who aren't approaching, what are they doing? Watching Prawn. That's how you have to call it on YouTube. They're watching Prawn and feeling sorry for themselves. Thinking about, oh, I'm too busy. I'm too busy. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that on YouTube, that particular motion, but I'm too busy while they're jacking it. I'm too busy to go talk to girls. Let me turn the AC off real quick. I'm too busy to talk to girls, and they're watching Prawn. They have time for that. They have time for 8 hours of fucking Netflix. You know, Jordan Peterson did a study with one of his classes and had people track down for a week how much time they wasted. So how much time they spent doing things that they didn't need to do. You know what came of it? The average was over 20 hours per week wasted time. That's Netflix, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Prawn, all those kinds of things. So you do have time. That's not the problem. The problem is that you're apathetic. The problem is that you're satisfied watching Prawn that tells your genes, oh, you know, he's still doing something sexual, because your genes don't understand that those aren't real women. right? That's not something our unconscious brain can comprehend. It thinks you're having orgy after orgy after orgy on one level. But deep down, you know that you're not. You know that your dating life is garbage, that it's bullshit. And so in this video, I'm going to give you the one real way to finally overcome approach anxiety. And you might not admit you have approach anxiety, but do you see hot girls? Do you see beautiful women that you want to talk to? Do you? I don't know why I said that in such a condescending tone, but you do, right? Of course you do. And do you approach them? No, it'd be impolite. Nobody. Really? That you think that's a good enough excuse to not have any women in your life, to not have one of the several base needs as a human not met? Is, oh, well, I don't want to potentially be offensive by talking to a stranger and saying they're attractive and complimenting them. You're really going to believe that narrative? Like, I hope you can level above that and admit that if you're not talking to the beautiful women you see, or if you're not seeing beautiful women, it means you're not leaving the house. That's even worse. But if you're not talking to the beautiful women you see, what does it mean? It means that you're in apathy. It means that prawn is good enough for you because it tells part of your genes, oh, well, he's getting laid all the time. Even though you know your dating life is shit. But it's good enough. Just like fast food is good enough to satiate you, but it turns you into, it makes you unhealthy, it makes you fat, it makes you weak, it makes you slow, it makes your brain function worse. Despite that, right? It's the same kind of apathy So you need to take extreme measures to break out of that apathy. That is the way to defeat approach anxiety. It is not to hem-haw. It's not to, I'm going to, over the course of a year, I'm going to figure something out. No, you need to take extreme action because the apathy is extreme. You're probably not even pissed off hearing this. I'm telling you basically, that you are a bitch. That you're watching channels like mine about how to pick up women and you're not even approaching. You're a fucking bitch. I'm telling you that, and you're not getting pissed off enough to go take action. That's how deep into apathy that you are. Step one is acknowledging that you are in apathy, and that the way out of apathy is first to accept that your life is shit right now, accept that the actions you're taking are bullshit, to get pissed off about that, and two, to take extreme action. Now, what do I mean? The way to get over approach anxiety is to dedicate one full day, at least 6 hours, ideally 8, to dedicate an entire day when you're not working to approaching women. An entire day, 8 hours plus. Now, ideally, this would be Friday, Saturday, somewhere where there's going to be a lot of foot traffic. So on a day when there's going to be a lot of foot traffic and you can go to bars, you can go to the mall, you can go wherever there's a lot of people. But you're going to dedicate 8 hours to walking around and getting over your approach anxiety. And here's what's going to happen. For a lot of that time, you are going to feel like a piece of shit. You are going to see a girl, not approach. See a girl, not approach. And you're going to have two choices. One is to give up and say, I guess this isn't for me. It's too painful. This approach anxiety, this feeling, I don't like it. I want to avoid it. I'm going to go back to, matching with the occasional 2 out of 10 on Tinder, messaging her, not even be able to get that 2 out of 10, but at least I got a little validation. And then I can go watch some prawn. You can either do that or you can get pissed off. You can get pissed off every time you don't do an approach. You're like, really? My fucking grandparents fought in wars and I can't talk to a girl. That's where I am. That's who I am. That's how weak I've let myself become. That's how lacking in courage I am. And to get pissed off, and it might take 1 hour, it might take 3 hours, it might take 5 hours, whatever it takes. Eventually, you will get fed up with yourself and you will do that fucking first approach. And that will be one of the best moments of your life. because you've overcome your ego. You've overcome your anxiety. You've overcome your resistance to doing something that you've always known you should be able to do, that you've always wanted to do, but you've had excuses. And you finally defeated those excuses. And if you go 8 hours, you still can't do that first approach, then you dedicate another day. Maybe if it's Friday, maybe it's the next day. Maybe then it's Saturday. Maybe it's the next week. You dedicate another day and you keep doing this until you break through, until you're able to approach women. That first approach is the hardest part. And when you do it, you'll have an incredible sense of relief. You'll feel this sense of being empowered, being more in control of your life. And then you can get to the real work of becoming charming, learning game, moving things forward, all that sort of stuff. But it doesn't matter. Like, you're watching my channel. I can give you the most advanced techniques ever. Look, I've had women that I just met. I've gotten them to literally get on their knees. I've gotten women to literally get on their knees and beg me to come home with them, beg me to have sex with them. I could teach you how to do that, but it would be pointless because you can't even go up to a girl and say hello. So until you do that, everything else is completely meaningless. So that's what I want you to do. And what I want you to do is to go right now, schedule it on your calendar. The next day that you have off of work, I'm going to do at least 8 hours of going out and approaching women. And I'm going to approach as many girls as I can. And if you aren't able to approach after 8 hours, schedule it again until you finally break through. That is the only way you're going to stop doing it, is till you have that breakthrough. Then you can reduce it to something sustainable. But at first, you can't just half-ass it. You can't half-ass it. You can't dip your feet in the water. You have to dive in, take an extreme level of action to fight the extreme level of inaction you've been taking up to this point. The inertia is very powerful. The level of inaction is very powerful. And so to overcome that, you need an extreme level of action. Now, while you're doing this, the best way to overcome approach anxiety and to start approaching is not to go up to the first girl and try to say, hey, I thought you were really hot, want to go on a date. If you can do that, that's great. But if you can't, start by walking up to girls, or even a girl's walking by, and give her a compliment, right? I like that dress. I like your outfit. I like your hairstyle. Something like that. I like your shoes, whatever. Just compliment girls as they walk by. You don't even have to commit to the interactions. You don't have to stop. Just say that to show your brain, okay, it wasn't a big deal. She smiled. Most of the girls will smile and say thank you at the very least. So that is, and then once you've done that 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, eventually you'll be able to say, eventually you'll feel a shift in your mind where that's easy and you want to do more. The momentum, the inertia will start working for you instead of against you. And then you'll be able to go and say, hey, look, I just thought you were cute and I had to say hello. Something along those lines. Or I liked your outfit and I had to say hello. Something like that. A real committed approach. And then once you can do that, then you can start asking girls for their numbers. And once you can do that, then you can get into the technique, the more advanced kind of stuff. But just doing that will get you very far. Because very few men have the courage. Very few men are not in such a state of apathy that they can't even do that. It's very rare. I've even heard women at clubs complain recently that, like, a hot girl that I approached, she said, I looked all sexy. I thought, like, I came to this big city. I came to Vegas and no one's been approaching me. Thank you. Thank you for approaching me. What's your number? That's what's happened. Less men are approaching than ever. Some are when they get really drunk, but that's about it. Very, very few men are approaching. The pandemic has made us more soft, more isolated, more accepting of just doing online dating. so that fewer men are putting themselves out there than ever, which means women desire it more than ever. It's more exciting because it's less common. Now, if you've watched this video and you're like, yes, I am apathetic. I am that 47%. Or maybe I approached 2 girls, but that's it. And you're like, that sounds like a good idea. Did you put it in your fucking calendar? Did you put it in your fucking calendar like I said? You agreed, but was that too much work to put 8 hours of game on some day in your calendar? Was that too hard? Probably was. So if you can't do that, if you can't even do that, that's when you need help. That's when you need assistance. You need coaching. If you watched this video, you agreed with the premise. It made sense. And it's just one fucking day. Is that so hard? Oh, one day. That's not that much to ask. One day dedicating to this to get over this problem. You can't even put it in your goddamn calendar. If that's you, that's when you click the link below and schedule a free call with me to talk about my boot camps, to get in-person coaching. Because if you don't have enough leverage to get yourself to do that, you're not going to succeed at this, right? If you can't get yourself to take action, nothing is going to happen. But a coach can push you. They can give you leverage. They can guide you through the process. It's a lot easier to do something difficult when someone else is guiding you every step of the way. So I'm doing in-person boot camps for 2 more months. I have a handful of spots left. So if you're one of those apathetic people that is not approaching, you're not taking action, this video made some sense to you, but you didn't put it on your fucking calendar, then schedule a free call and talk about taking a boot camp. Because you could go years watching videos, thinking, I want to get my dating life handled, but doing nothing. That is entirely possible. That is a common story. And look, if you're extremely poor, right, you can't afford it. My boot camps are $1,500. If you can't afford that, that's too much for you. I do happen to have 2 that are a little bit less, but there's only a couple spots for those. I do happen to have 1 boot camp that is less, but there's only a couple spots for that one. But if that's too much, like you literally just can't make that work, okay, well, first of all, you got to get your money handled. That's another thing that you need to put some effort into. But secondly, that should be a wake-up call. That you need to start giving things up. Giving up things that give you comfort, like video games. Did I say that weird? Like video games, Netflix, Instagram, mindless YouTube content, right? Watching some people play a video game or whatever. Who cares? Twitch, bullshit, waste of energy. And I hope this has been a wake-up call. Because we live in a society that profits off making men weak. That is the reality. It might sound like a conspiracy theory, but really think about it. If men are apathetic, they're in bed all day, they don't leave the house, then Netflix makes money. Then YouTube makes money. Video game companies make money. Tinder makes money. Uber makes money. Everything, Uber Eats specifically, makes money. DoorDash makes money. Amazon makes money. There's a financial incentive to make men weak and apathetic and semi-depressed, but not angry enough to change. And that inertia is very powerful. And if you want to change it, you have to take extreme action. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe to my channel, share it, and hit the bell button, because if you don't hit the bell button, you will not be notified when I release a new video. And if you're not going to take this challenge, explain why. What's your bullshit excuse? If you live in the Middle East where there's Sharia law, okay, good excuse. Other than that, let's hear it. I will tear it apart. Let's hear it. Let's hear your excuse. Stop bullshitting yourself.